Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Market Open. It is Monday, May 13th, 8:47 a.m. I am so happy to be back on the Market Open and to be in my routine and to be home and to be in the studio and for things to be normal. It has been a while since we've been in this studio. It's basically last week we were gone for the entire week. Away from just having a normal setup. So really happy to be back here, happy to get things rolling again, be up early this morning and get ready to get back into it. It's been an exciting morning already. If you've been keeping up with some of the equity markets, we're going to talk about GameStop. That is a big story that seems like it's going to develop. I don't know if it's going to continue to be a big story for the rest of the year. I'm actually curious to see if this run that GameStop has actually has the momentum in it to last. But we've got the S&P 500 that is 1% away from all-time highs. We're going to talk about what's going on in the macro for the S&P to get there. Bitcoin, I mean, not doing as bad as, it's done in April. In April, we bottomed out at like 56,000. Right now, it's 62. If we can get above 65, some of the analysis I was seeing this morning allows us to be back in sort of the bull territory. If we're below 62-ish in the next, or 60,000 in the next couple of days, maybe 55 is where we're headed to go. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin. And then CPI is tomorrow. And that's going to be incredibly important because CPI is going to determine basically if this bull market has any legs towards it. Consensus estimates look to be 3.4, which will be lower than 3.5, which I think the market would like. But if we are not at 3.5 or below, then maybe this is going to get a little bit more dicey. So we got a lot of stuff to discuss because we got the equity markets that are once again open. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's get into it. Gift Magic, Switchblade, Gilbert, Adam, Theo, Lars, Jordan, Autumn Soul, Alan, Jason, I'm Beneficial. What's up? What's up? Ty Gordon, Benny, D Visual, Dougie Fresh, Nick Piercy, Polos, PPI is also this week as well that we're going to see. Oh, CPI is not tomorrow? No, I'm pretty sure CPI is tomorrow. CPI next date. Maybe I'm wrong about that. No, May 15th. Oh, you guys are right. So it's not tomorrow. So Wednesday. So Wednesday we have CPI. Okay. So Wednesday we will see what happens with CPI. Alex Peterson, Surrey, Kite, GBT, Jason, Harvey, Ryan Smith, others, Zinc, Juan Carlos, Heren, Player Run. Thank you all for being here today. If you don't sleep through it, CPI is bullish. I'm going to make sure I do not. Could you imagine if I sleep through it again? And if I sleep through it again and it's hotter than expected again, then it's confirmed that me sleeping through CPI is what guarantees a hotter print. So I'm going to make sure I I wake up in the morning. There is no way I can sleep through this CPI. Angelica, Axon, Andy, Mr. Russo, Honeybee, thank you all for being here today. All right, so let's get into it. Before we get started, first of all, happy Mother's Day. I know today's not Mother's Day. Yesterday was Mother's Day, but happy Mother's Day to everyone who is a mother and to all the mothers that are out there. I don't know if my mom's watching this right now. She actually told me yesterday that she was missing me last week because I was gone the whole week. And she tuned into one of the streams because she was missing me. And it was right at the moment where I was showing the family text message group of my sister being like, oh, is that Alex Karp? And she was just like laughing grass off because I was basically exposing our dirty laundry. She was like, yeah, you were saying, your sister doesn't care. You were saying your dad's an Indian father and all he cares about is your hair and not the fact that you're meeting a big CEO. And she was just like, you were just exposing us. I was like, yeah, I need you guys for content. This is my life is content. So, by the way, my sister had some fun words for me when she saw that tweet. She she literally thinks I'm using her for content, and I'm like, I am, and you're giving me good content. So thank you for doing that. But yeah, shout out to all the mothers. Obviously, my mom. You guys know how much I love my mom. She's like the reason I'm even here. She's the one who encouraged me to go chase my dreams through all the ups and downs of this journey that I've been on over the past couple of years. Her advice has been just keep going and just keep trying. I think the big story from my mom, I told you guys a lot a while ago, is she wanted to be like a fashion designer in India back in the 1980s. And she tried to apply for this like fashion school, and my grandpa, her dad, basically ripped up her application. It was like, you're not doing that. So she didn't really have the privilege of going to like chase her dreams or like the infrastructure / support to do that. So for me and my sister, her goal was to like never stop us from trying to do anything creative. And making a living off of your creative work is very difficult, right? It's like not easy to make a sustainable living off being a creative. And I'm it's been a journey, but we're kind of getting there from my side. And it's only because I've had the support from her to just like keep trying and keep going. So really, me living any resemblance of my dreams is because my mom has allowed me to and encouraged me to as well. So love my mom. Happy birthday. Not happy birthday to her. Happy Mother's Day to her. You see, I'm saying happy birthday because you guys in the chat every day keep wishing me a happy birthday. Got it subliminally in my head. This is one picture I want to show you guys from my mom, my sister, and me when we were we tried to remake this picture yesterday. She was like, we really wanted to remake it. It didn't go too well, but we tried to remake it. Yeah, this is me as a little baby. This is, I think, 1998 or something, 1997, I was born. This is like a couple months after I was born. And there's my sister basically looking at me. And I think in her head, she's like, you better not tweet about me when you get older. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to make sure I buy some Robinhood options at $9 and I'm going to tweet about you. And that's what we're going to do. So that's what we got. Happy Mother's Day to my mom and to all the moms that are out there as well. All right. So let's talk about the global capital equity markets. And in particular, let's talk about one of those global capital equities that exists, which is GameStop. Okay, so what's going on with GameStop? Now, this thing is really interesting. Last night, basically a guy who's on the thumbnail of this stream that you guys might know or might not know. His name is Roaring Kitty. And this was the guy who basically did streams back in 2021 when GameStop was getting ready to go to the moon. So he identified the asymmetric opportunity that was GameStop. This is his Twitter account right here. He had 460,000 followers last night. Now he has 580. So literally got 100,000 followers overnight, which is not easy to do on Twitter. But so 100,000 people. I mean, just think about that scale. 100,000 people press follow, including myself last night. Why is that the case? Because he tweeted this picture that has now 10 million views. He was the guy who led the GameStop rally movement back in 2021. He recognized that there were hedge funds shorting the crap out of GameStop. He realized that if there was enough people to buy up the stock, the hedge funds would have to close their hedge, i.e. cover the short, and that would create a massive squeeze. I think GameStop's short float at the time was over 100%. So, I mean, that's where the asymmetric opportunity came from. And that's where he realized, look, if I can just get enough people to realize that there is a mission here to go against the hedge funds. There wasn't really anything fundamental about GameStop at all. And I think he admitted that, but there is a sort of mission to destroy the hedge funds that prey on the innocent shareholders of companies by shorting them to death. If we can reverse that switch, then there's a movement to be had here. And the movement happened and GameStop rallied and it went on an epic run. I think it went up 10x or some crazy number like that. People made it a lot of money. And then it ended up collapsing. A lot of reasons why it ended up collapsing. I think the number one reason is because people took their profits. People can say that the buy button was closed on all these brokerage firms. A lot of it had to do with liquidity issues. I get it. But the point is the run ended up stopping, but there was a phenomenal run towards GameStop. Right now, we're looking at it up 41% in the pre-markets. GameStop, $24.73. And the reason it happened is because the tweet you guys were just looking at was him waking up, you could argue, from that tweet. And he has not tweeted in 3 years. So it's been since 2021. Last night was the first night at 8 p.m. where he decided to tweet. We actually talked about this on Friday. He liked the picture, and the poll picture had to do with like the Rise of the Apes, the movie. So there was a little bit of speculation that maybe something was brewing. GameStop is up now in the past month over 100%. And so that's where we have this run that's starting to happen. Now let me present a little bit of the bear case here on this magnificent run that could happen with GameStop. The short float on GameStop is only 24%, which is a lot, but it's not the type of over leveraged 110% that it was back in 2020 or early 2021, which led to the squeeze being as gigantic as it is. So as much as we're seeing a nice 40% pump right here, when the market opens, people can take their profits, or when the market opens, more people could, come in. But once the shorts cover that hedge, it can pump. I don't know if it can pump as dramatically as it pumped last time. And I guess we're going to see how that plays out and what ends up happening. The second thing that's important to understand about GameStop is that I think they've had 3 years at this point as a public company to prove that there's some, unique change. Back then, Ryan Cohen, who is the founder of Chewy, he disclosed a massive position in GameStop. This happened in late 2020, early 2021. He became the new CEO, the executive chair, all that stuff. And they've had 3 years to transform the business. From my understanding, objectively, they failed. Those 3 years, the 3 years of transforming their business has been garbage. I mean, what has GameStop done that is exciting for shareholders? Quite frankly, nothing. So, the real estate of the stores are still there, but I don't even think they actually own those stores in terms of the real estate. The NFT kind of pivot they had hasn't gone well. Sales have been down. They don't even do an earnings calls for shareholders, which is like the biggest red flag I could ever imagine. A company that's not even willing to talk to their shareholders on an earnings call and answer questions. If you are buying GameStop, I think you are buying it for an ideological movement. You are not buying it for the fundamental nature of the stock. Same thing with Donald Trump, right? DJT. There is not a sort of core reason to buy the company. Having said that, that movement was incredibly effective in 2021 during the pandemic when there were stimulus checks, yada, yada, yada. Now, I don't know, and I would love to know what people say in the chat. I don't know, and we'll talk about the Apple OpenAI AI news in a second because that's big news as well. I don't know if there is this Occupy Wall Street type of mentality around GameStop. And I think you need a movement for it to pump the way it did last time. And I know it's up 100% in the past month and there's, people have made money, but for it to go to $100, $150, like I think last time it peaked at like 480 or something, there needs to be like this consensus feeling across the globe that GameStop is the place where we need to stick it to the hedgies. And I don't know if the same feeling is going to exist this time. Here's Andrew Tate, popular men's alpha red pill influencer. Here's what he tweeted this morning about GameStop.
So as it stands, there's a hedge fund manager who, when it wakes up tomorrow morning and Wall Street opens, if the GameStop price opens at the current price, he's going to lose $13 billion.
I'm not sure if that's correct. I tried to find information on the hedge funds that are short. I couldn't find anything this morning, but if that's correct, then I'm sure the hedge funds are down some money this morning.
Entire hedge fund. So me and Luke, we just cashed some Bitcoin. We're putting 50 grand, 50 G's, 50 grand in at GameStop at this price. I don't give a fuck if I lose it all. I don't give a fuck. I just want this hedge fund manager piece of shit, these Wall Street fucking greedy bank pig cunts. I just want him to lose. And now I'm reading more and more. These Occupy Wall Street guys are doing AMC, BlackBerry, whatever. I'm cashing. I'm putting this right now. I'm cashing $500,000 of Bitcoin right now, and I'm going all in, maximum leverage, all in on all these stocks. Luke, we're losing all the money. We are taking down Wall Street.
All his money.
We're going to take them down ourselves. I'm taking Wall Street down. Watch me. Fuck them. Fuck them all.
Okay, couple things that are going on right here that I think that I want to touch on right now. So number one, from a marketing perspective, I think Andrew Tate is a genius. And what he's tapping into right now is the frustration that people have with Wall Street and hedge fund managers. Again, I think this frustration is pretty artificial. There's nothing that's happened over the past couple of months or even years. I mean, the market's done very well. People have made a lot of money just buying and holding, right? So there hasn't been this like moment in 2021 where they're over leveraged, more than 100% short GameStop. Therefore, you need to stick it to the hedges. But Tate, from a marketing perspective, and I think you have to be weary because there's going to be a lot of people from a marketing perspective are like, oh, there's all these millions of people that are upset. GameStop is the savior for their to embody the nature of how upset they are. I'm going to become the quote unquote roaring kitty of these people's frustrations, like Andrew Tate is trying to do right here. And I'm going to tap into their attention and I'm going to essentially manipulate them to believe that I'm the savior as well. And I'm going to stick it to the hedgies. I think all of that is bullshit. And I think it's at least that's from my perspective. I think a lot of that is bullshit. Let me say right now, I am not buying GameStop. You will not see me buy GameStop, not even for fun. I'm buying GameStop. I just don't believe in it like that. This is not the type of channel I want to build. This is not the type of brand I want to build. I'll cover the story because it's fun watching it happen, but I'm not in this whole, like, even just as a YOLO, that's just, it's not the vibe that I'm going for at all. So I will not be partaking in this. If you want to partake in this, then feel free to do so. I think it's just important to recognize the FOMO that is going to be created by guys like Andrew Tate, thousands and thousands of people to probably buy Bitcoin, or not buy Bitcoin, buy GameStop, is going to eventually result in exit liquidity. It's going to result in some type of exit liquidity. Let me just make sure the video's good right here. Yeah, video's good. Okay, cool. It's going to result in some type of exit liquidity, right? So what Andrew Tate is essentially going to be able to do is say, hey, I'm buying GameStop and I'm sticking it to the hedge funds and I'm doing whatever I need to do to be able to make money and show that we can, continue to take on the establishment. A lot of that is just him making money off buying this thing at like $24. It pumps to like $44 and he cashes out. I don't think this is some type of movement where he's holding on till the end of time to stick it to the hedge funds. I don't even know if Roaring Kitty ended up selling his GameStop because it's not a blockchain. We don't have like access to his records, right? We can't see his wallet address. I don't know if he held his GameStop this whole time or he sold his GameStop, and maybe we'll find out if he comes back to the media. But we'll see how that plays out. But I think there will be a lot of people like the Andrew Tates of the world that will manipulate the attention that is concentrated into these stocks, and they're going to try to use that attention to be able to gain. They're going to be able to use that attention for selfish purposes and gains. That is not something I want to do. That's not something I really think is that ethical. And I think there will be a lot of people. You're going to see a lot of YouTube channels over the next few days. A lot of Twitter accounts pop out of nowhere, start doing the most fundamental due diligence they can on GameStop. All of it, in my opinion, is going to be bullshit. You can disagree with me. That is totally fine, but that is my opinion. And I think if you're going to get in this trade, even for fun, you have to be ready to lose all this money because this thing could fall to shit. Or you have to be ready to, potentially recognize that this may be a longer story than it takes, and you're not just going to get a 10x tomorrow the way it kind of happened in 2020. Whereas if you bought it in like December, by January, you were up significant amounts of money, especially if you had call options. Maybe that happens this way, maybe that doesn't. But it's just one thing to think about when it comes to how GameStop will play out. I do think there will be a lot of grifting during this entire process by people that want to prey on the innocent. And why are these people innocent? Well, these people, in my opinion, don't know that much better. A lot of the people that are buying GameStop are buying it for a quick run. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're buying a company that doesn't do an earnings call, that doesn't have any fundamental, business structure, any fundamental business plan, that does not care about shareholders by any sense of the imagination, and that's not even that short. So like on a like pure technical perspective, there will be a squeeze, but there's not going to be the gigantic squeeze that we saw in 2021. The numbers just don't add up for that. Then you're buying it because you just want to make a little bit of money, or you think that this is like the way to get financial freedom. I personally don't think that's the best route to go, but there will be people that partake in that journey. And so we have to see how that plays out. Sounds like Palantir. So here's the difference between, and I think a lot of people have made this comparison. The difference between a company like Palantir and GameStop, and I've said this historically for like the past 2 years, is that there's analysis attached to Palantir. There's like deals. There's an Oracle partnership. We have to make sense of it. We have to understand, how does this increase the valuation? Blah, 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 blah. With GameStop, there's nothing, bro. There's absolutely nothing. There's just this pure fervor to stick it to the hedge funds. And I don't know if that's something you want to really latch onto. And it's definitely not something I'm latching onto, which is why I'm not buying this stock. Now, one last thing I'll say on GameStop is, well, this is good for another stock that I'm deep into, Robinhood. People don't know this, and it's a little annoying to admit this, but it is what it is. GameStop is a top 10 holding across every stock on none other than Robinhood. People don't know this, but Amazon's there, Meta's there, Microsoft's there, Nvidia's there, and GameStop is there. I don't like that because it makes Robinhood feel like more of a meme trading app, and I think it's starting to not be a meme trading app, just given the growth we're seeing in the numbers, and we'll talk more about that later. But GameStop still is a top 10 holding across every stock on Robinhood. So many of the people that didn't like what Hood did in 2021, they didn't transfer their GameStop shares. This is another reason why I think a lot of these GameStop people, quite frankly, and I'm sorry if you're one of these people, but I think they're idiots. Because if you said Robinhood is the most evil company on planet Earth and you'll never use them again, why in 4 years have you not transferred your GameStop shares off the platform? It either means you're lying and you don't believe Robinhood's the most evil platform in the world, or B, you just you don't care about GameStop, right? Like you actually don't care about the platform that it's on, which means if that's the case, then what's the sophistication of this cult if you're going to let the most evil brokerage on the planet take away the buy button again? So for whatever reason is the case, most of the GameStop bulls still have their shares on Robinhood. GameStop's up 40% right now, which means Robinhood's assets under custody, at least for GameStop, are up 40%. And their trading volumes are likely going to continue to explode. There have been record highs in Q1. They're going to get even better because GameStop is going to create more momentum. Now, I don't like this as a catalyst for Robinhood, but I'm not going to ignore this as a catalyst because if GameStop is one of the top 10 holdings on the platform is going to benefit from more people trading it. As long as nothing weird happens with the buy button, which I will say is a bit of a risk, as long as nothing weird happens with the buy button, then I think Robinhood's going to benefit from this. Now, a lot of people were tagging me last night that, Robinhood shut down 24-hour trading. Again, I think a lot of people are just stupid. I really think a lot of people are just stupid. If you did 2 seconds of research, Robinhood uses a third-party provider to be able to access shares on a illiquid market like the 24-hour market. It is not a perfect market. There's nowhere else on the planet you can go to buy these shares other than Robinhood. I mean, there's a couple other platforms, but those aren't that big. So you've got Robinhood that allows it. Second of all, because it ran up 20%, there were no more shares left to give. There are certain, if you look at the actual float in which you could borrow the shares from, because there's a set amount, there's a finite amount of shares in the bank that you can use for the 24-hour markets, because again, you need a buyer and a seller to be able to make this thing happen. They ran out. So, Robinhood let it go up 20%, but they cannot physically execute your shares because the third-party vendor doesn't even have access to those shares. This is the thing they put out last night around why a lot of trades were rejected. So by what time? By basically like 1 a.m., people tried to buy GameStop, and they let you buy from 8 p.m. to like 1 a.m. So you had 5 hours to buy it. But during that time, they just didn't have any more shares. So I think as long as nothing weird happens with Robinhood and the buy button, which I don't think is going to happen in 24-hour markets, a lot of weird stuff is probably going to happen and people are going to misconstrue it. And I actually like that because that's going to be more alpha for me because those people are just dumb. They don't understand how the 24-hour market works. They're going to think Robinhood is evil. That's great. Stock will drop. I'll buy more and I'll get the alpha because that's just, there's going to be a misinformation there that's going to create some asymmetry. But in general, as long as during regular trading hours, Robinhood doesn't do any sus shit, which let's acknowledge in 2021, what they did was very sus. I'll be the first one to say that. Then I think GameStop going up is going to help Robinhood. And if that happens, that's going to be pretty good. And we'll see how that all plays out. All right. So that's GameStop. We'll keep the story going. We got 21 minutes until the market opens and we'll keep going from there. But that is the story on GameStop. And it'll be interesting market open to see how that one ends up playing out. Now, let's talk about some other companies that are incredibly important. Apple, I think I'll actually be live streaming, guys, today, the OpenAI event at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. OpenAI is going to be putting out their newest event on like the newest product features. They're working. I think GPT-5 is going to be shown. I don't know what exactly they're going to show, but they're going to be showing something. Here is the big news that was broken from Bloomberg on Friday. We'll talk about China and some chip news as well after this. Apple said to be in finalizing deal with OpenAI to put ChatGPT on the iPhone. I really want to know what you guys think about this. Are you bullish? Are you bearish on this? Because I kind of think this is a good idea. The move is in part to push to add AI features to Apple devices. Company also held talks with Google about using Gemini. Apple's up 1% in the pre-markets. Apple right now, Apple's at 185, up 1.2. Google's down 1.6. Google's down 2.4, actually. Google's down because regulators thought, or not regulators, but investors thought they would win this like operating system play for Apple, just like they did with the browser in 2007. It looks like OpenAI has won it. The two sides have been finalizing terms for a pact to use ChatGPT features in Apple's iOS 18, the next iPhone operating system. Apple has also had talks with Google's Gemini, but that hasn't led to an agreement. An OpenAI Accord will let Apple offer a popular chatbot as a part of a flurry of new AI features that it's planning to release next month. Bloomberg reported in April the discussions with OpenAI had intensified. Still, there's no guarantee that an agreement will be announced imminently. It seems like Apple needs to show something for their WWDC conference in June, which is literally a month away. And it's kind of crazy that they're closing this deal a month before WWDC. Could you imagine they're building the presentation literally a month before because they're just closing the deal, which actually has been pretty bearish for what they're going to show at this event. But it looks like they're going to be using OpenAI to power the operating system for the next potential iPhone, or at least the next operating system of the iPhone. Now, the question here is, if it's only iOS 18 and I can upgrade to iOS 18 from this phone, do I really need to upgrade? Because if I don't need to upgrade, that's not good for Apple. If I do need to upgrade onto the new software via new hardware, I guess that is bullish for Apple. The question then becomes, is the software so good that I will upgrade based on whatever they announced at WWDC with OpenAI? I am still skeptical. I've been skeptical of the Vision Pro, and I will be skeptical of this. I don't think the OpenAI features that they're going to come up with or announce are going to be exciting enough for me to upgrade. I think, intertwining ChatGPT through this personal AI assistant in my phone, I don't see the vision of how that makes it so much more useful that I have to use this thing every day and I have to interact with it. Yes, Siri will get a bit useful, but again, I just don't see the vision that much. And I've asked people to show me what they think it's going to happen, and they're like, we don't really know. And it's like, okay, so no one knows. So Apple's really going to have to surprise us here. And if they surprise us effectively, maybe there's some momentum. Dan Ives says the golden goose for Cook and Cupertino was to have exclusive OpenAI and ChatGPT powered AI features in iOS 18 and ultimately embedded in the upcoming iPhone 16 launch in September. Inking a partnership with OpenAI opens up a myriad of paths and revenue AI opportunities. Price target $250 continues and outperform. I mean, this is the part where I just disagree with Dan Ives. I mean, if Apple gets to 250, I'm not short Apple, so I would have no issues. I just really don't know if this AI iPhone is the thing that takes them to the next level, because Vision Pro's done. EVs are dead. I mean, goodness, there's talks of them acquiring Rivian that have started to spoil it, because like maybe that's the next growth curve. I don't know what moves the needle on a $3 trillion company like Apple. With Microsoft, what moves the needle pretty aggressively? Cloud, the Azure cloud. Maybe Apple becomes a hyperscaler through the chips sector, or through offering compute in some capacity, and that moves the needle. But at this point, at $3 trillion, where everyone's tired of your products, where the iPad getting thinner is all that makes people excited, and that doesn't even work to get people excited. I don't know what moves the needle. You would argue a car could move the needle, but the car is not happening. Vision Pro could move the needle. Vision Pro is not happening. So what's left? Maybe it's the phone, and I guess we'll see. But this announcement today by OpenAI is going to be really important to see how this ends up playing out. Chris Patel says, I've got a stock that's going to be my Roaring Kitty moment. All right, Chris, maybe we need to get you on the Market Open exclusively to announce this stock. We'll see if that's an interesting one. Roaring Kitty moment. And again, speaking of Roaring Kitty moments, I wonder what Roaring Kitty actually sees in GameStop, because it's not like the fundamentals have gotten that much better, and it's not like the short flow is that intense. I mean, if you look at it right here, the short flow is 24%. Like, that's enough, I guess, to cause a squeeze. I don't know if that's enough to cause such a gigantic squeeze, right? And then that's kind of the problem here, to think if there's something so meaningful here that's going to be exciting. But I guess we'll see. I'll say right here, Palantir is not going to have any type of short squeeze, because Palantir is only 5% short, and there's 2 billion shares, so it's going to be a little harder to do that. But with GameStop, I guess there's a route to the short squeeze. You've just got to convince a lot of people that GameStop has the momentum here. And again, I'm a bit skeptical. GameStop right here up 44%. I'm a bit skeptical of the whole Roaring Kitty type of ethos in 2024. In 2021, I think there were a lot of things that set up for it. There was stimulus checks. There was M2 being grown with money supply at astronomical rates because of stimulus printing. And there was a new administration, like there was an election, like so many things were happening in that moment that led to this like momentum just burst out, right? In 2024, I don't know what's there, what's necessarily around to be able to make this thing kind of explode the way it needs to explode. And I don't know if people have the ability to withhold, a 50-70% drop in GameStop, which did happen back in those days, and then ride it back to the top. I don't know. We'll see. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this moment for a very long time. We'll check on Bitcoin in a second as well. People have been waiting for this on 3 years for Roaring Kitty to come back. So it is a big deal. It's just a question of, does it materialize into anything meaningful? Bitcoin right here, 62,844. And then we got Ethereum at 2,977 as well. The pre-market is at 45%. The market can truly be a shit show. Yeah, I agree. I mean, when it opens up, there will be people that are going for liquidity, but there's also going to be a lot of people saying, hey, I need to get in at 24 because it's going to 50. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how it plays out. Chris says, nope, it's only for Patreon. Polos Bro says, if you ain't giving it for free, it ain't a Roaring Kitty stock. That's actually true. If you're not giving it for free, Chris, it's not a Roaring Kitty stock. Roaring Kitty did it for the love of the game, I think. Maybe he made millions on the side selling this GameStop. We don't know. We don't really know this guy. We don't really know what he did, But he's assumed to be a man of the people. He's assumed to be a guy that did not have financial motivations, but rather had moral motivations in the context of what he was doing. So this is the guy right here. If you guys have seen Dumb Money, you saw a little bit of a story. In the movie, at least, it showed that he didn't care about money. He lived a very normal life. He didn't like the media, didn't like the attention, none of that stuff. So, I mean, if he's back at it again, maybe he thinks there is another. Maybe look, here's the crazy wild card about Roaring Kitty. Maybe he's not even into GameStop. Maybe. And I'm just saying, which would be the craziest plot twist of 2024. He says, well, guys, Robinhood just had 11 billion in deposits. I think we should look at Robinhood. Then, dude, I would. Oh my God, I would. I'm sorry, I would have an orgasm. I would just. If he says I'm into Robinhood, if he says, yep, that's the stock. If he says I like the stock on Robinhood, oh boy, that would be insane. That would be insane. That would absolutely be insane. Now, granted, I don't think there's a chance in hell that happens because I think his cult would like literally destroy him. But if that did happen, could you imagine, dude? Could you imagine? It would be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy. He's in PayPal. Dude, imagine just imagine, dude. Again, like I know the BlackBerries of the world, the AMCs of the world, GameStops of the world, they're all heavily shorted, but I don't know if the 2021 fervor is in the air of this momentum to like stick it to the hedge funds. I don't know if that exists in 2024. And I think people trying to replicate or manufacture that, I just don't know if it has the staying power that it did back in 2021. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this thing plays out. Obviously, the guy's back and he's back for a reason. The question is ultimately, what is he back for? AMC is also up this morning as well. That is correct. AMC is getting a little sympathy pump. AMC has gotten diluted out, like crazy. I know AMC is up 18%, but this thing going to need a lot of volume to move because management diluted the crap. At least GameStop didn't do as much dilution as AMC. AMC has been diluted. So for AMC to pump, it's at $3 right now. For this to pump to even $10, I think there would have to be a lot of momentum. GameStop, how many shares outstanding does GameStop have? They have 64 million sold short. I think they have, 300 million outstanding. So 64 short, 300 million outstanding. Let's check AMC. AMC right now has, AMC short float is 18%. Interesting. Now, again, it's been diluted a lot. 300 million shares outstanding, 55 million float. Interesting. I didn't know AMC was that short as well. Well, look, I mean, maybe, dude. There's going to need a lot of volume to move AMC a little bit more than GameStop, just given how much dilution has happened. But, I mean, if it's short 20%, I thought AMC was short like 7%. It's short 20%. Yeah, I mean, look, both of these can move. Both of these definitely have room to move. I will not be participating in any. So that is one thing I can promise you guys right now. I'm not participating in these at all. Someone says Amit hating because he's not in. It's really not about hating, dude. If people make money in this, again, I made the bull case for why it's going to help Robinhood, that's my bet that I made for the year. I'm sticking with that. If GameStop actually goes to $150, dude, Robinhood's assets under custody. If GameStop is a top 10 stock on Robinhood across every platform, across 24 million accounts, and this thing jumps 5x, their assets under custody are 130. I think that would add a couple billion to AUC on one ticker. That would be like insanely bullish. And maybe the market correlates that with Robinhood. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But that would be the safer part of where I want to put my investment. Robinhood here at 1660, up 2.28% in the pre-markets. But I'm not participating because I fundamentally don't believe in the story. I don't believe it's 2021 where I want to stick it to the hedge funds. I don't care about these companies. I don't think the management of these companies actually care about shareholders. I think a lot of grifting is going to be done to pump these companies, and a lot of retail is going to be exit liquidity. I don't think that's happening in Robinhood and Palantir. I think those are long-term stories that have so much momentum and growth catalysts, and they may take time to play out. You might not get a 5x in 2 months, but those are real things that I like covering in terms of like my own portfolio. GameStop and AMC are just not, it's just not ethically kind of how the route I want to go. But if you guys want to make some money and you're willing to take the risk, just know that it's a big risk, but there is money potentially to be made in those stocks. Amit might change his tune by tomorrow if it goes up 50%. No, I made the decision, guys. First of all, I don't have a lot of cash to deploy, so it's not like I could take a massive position. Second of all, I genuinely do not want to be associated with these cults. I'll cover them because I enjoy covering it. Obviously, it's happening in the market, but I'm not trying to be the leader of any. Whoever wants to take up that mantle, if you want to start a YouTube channel and be a GameStop guy, be my guest. That is not me. I try to think of myself a little bit more sophisticated than that. And I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the world, but I'm smart enough to know that those two are not things you want to build your brand around by any sense of imagination. Maybe they are smart investments. Maybe because they'll pump in the next 2 months. Maybe it's a really smart investment. I am totally okay making zero money in those. There's going to be like legitimately zero FOMO because I just don't care. That's not a story or a movement that I'm so excited to be a part of. So, yeah, that's not the goal for me. I thought this was the Palantir cult. What did I subscribe to? All right, let's talk about Palantir. Speaking of Palantir, we got 9 minutes until the market opens. So let's talk about Palantir. Obviously, last week was a pretty crazy week in my life because we got to meet Mr. or should I say Dr. Alex Karp. By the way, when I went to the event, everyone that was there called him Dr. Karp. So the level of respect that people had for Karp was just incredible. And it was really exciting getting to meet him. I actually just dropped off Arnie at the airport this morning. And so he's headed back, but he was at my house for the past couple of days. And, me and Arnie got to meet him together, and it was the coolest thing in the world, right? It was literally the coolest thing in the world, getting him to just talk and see what he's like and all this stuff. And if there's any cult that I want to be a part of, this is the cult. I mean, the guy is pulling my hair. That's the cult that I want to be a part of. But the fact that Karp was even willing to engage with retail investors, and he was at an event where this is the difference between Karp and whoever the AMC GameStop CEO is. Karp, when he talked at the event he was at, was respected to a degree that you cannot imagine. I mean, it was electric, the energy in the air when Karp was talking. Whereas these other guys, just aren't that interesting. And they don't really get people to care. They don't have the most interesting defense generals on the planet. And Eric Schmidt, $20 billion former Google CEO. With Eric Schmidt is the point that I'm trying to make. They're, Karp's in a different league. And so we'll talk a little bit about the earnings in a second and the price reaction. But here's Karp at that event I was at talking about college protests. Here's a 2-minute clip. Let's hear him speak. And then we'll keep going from there.
CEO Alex Karp never one to hold back. He has now been calling out corporate America for its silence following Hamas's attack on Israel October 7th. Here's what we had to say yesterday in Washington about the protests across college campuses and potentially hiring from them as well.
Of course, I've been calling out the thin, corrosive, cancerous ideology that regresses below Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, and any form of Western thought that is now a pagan religion infecting our universities, because it's dangerous to America. It is dangerous to allow discrimination on our college campuses simply because the people are being discriminated against are viewed as successful. That is really dangerous, and we have, especially people like me who view themselves as progressive, need to stand up. It's divided. I've had people, mostly in the corporate case, people are like, "Are you sure you should say that?" And are like, supportive. I would say in my intellectual circles, there are a lot of people, especially on the Israel issue, that are uncomfortable with my position, and I sometimes fight with them. But I'll tell you, it's important for building a software company that you say in public what you say in private. We kind of just think these things that are happening across college campuses especially are like a sideshow. No, they are the show. Because if we lose the intellectual debate, you will not be able to deploy any army in the West ever.
That's right.
And of course our adversaries. Why don't we talk about why there's no tech scene in China or Russia? Like, there is no tech scene. There are no software companies. Why don't we bring the intellectual battle to them? Hey, you want a tech scene that can support your GDP? You've got to have a free, open, meritocratic, diverse, intellectually curious environment where you get to keep the equity that you build. Like, we're just not showing up for that debate, and that is the debate where we win or lose.
You can agree or disagree with Karp. I don't think everyone has to agree with him. Like, a lot of people politically disagree with him on a gigantic level. But the point is, the GameStop AMC CEOs are not talking like he's talking. They're not sharing the stages that he's sharing with the people that he's talking to. And they're not engaging in the philosophical debates that he's engaging in. And their companies are not growing 21% year over year, quite frankly, based off the way he governs the company. So whether you agree or disagree, you can't say that he's not telling you what his honest thoughts are, which I think this is the only thing you can ask from a CEO. And then you don't have to invest, right? If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. GameStop right now up 50% as we're speaking about this. So going into what's going on with Palantir stock, look, my thing right here, Palantir's up 0.34%. I think $20 is a gift. And I'm saying that from a personal perspective. I think that the market is being stupid right now. And the market's being stupid for a couple of reasons. Number one, the company has reaccelerated growth across every angle that I wanted to see them reaccelerate growth. Even government has reaccelerated from 11% to 16%. Commercial, they guided for higher than 40%, now at 45%. And then customer count is doing fantastic. Those are the core metrics that matter. Adjusted operating income margin percent, 36% from 34%. They were 17% 18 months ago. So on like the actual metrics I care about as a business, it's doing incredibly well. The problem is, as you can see in this chart right here, it was at $20 on April 19th, ran up to 26 right before earnings on May 6th. And we've seen it come back down. If it just, stayed flat at $20 or $21, I think the stock would be at probably 23, 24 right now. And the whole psychology around how earnings went would be fundamentally different. But the problem is it ran up way too quick. A lot of the options market got super greedy. People, started selling, and like, it is what it is. People took their profits and this thing just ended up collapsing, on top of the fact that it ended up collapsing off the idea that people thought growth was deaccelerating when they saw commercial revenue start to come down, when in reality, they guided that it would go from 70% to 40% because that 70% number was never real, because that 70% number was bit on a small base. And so I think that's how the street internalized it. Now, the good thing here is that every analyst that I looked at that gave a research report on Palantir said, this earnings was a pretty damn good earnings. And this earnings really showed the momentum that they needed to show in the context of what they were doing. Here's a couple of charts by Arnie that he posted that I thought were really interesting. And this is one of those things where I think at $20, it gets very exciting because every metric increased, but the street did not reflect. Same thing with Robinhood, by the way. I mean, their earnings were just out of the world in terms of how explosive they were, but the street didn't reward them. That to me is where I get excited versus I get scared, because eventually the street catches up if the numbers can sustain themselves. So as you can see, U.S. commercial revenue is up 76% year over year from 85 to 150 in terms of millions. And this is clients growing more than 2x, but revenue is growing only up by 70%. So as you see, commercial clients went from 103 to 262. So we doubled our commercial clients, but we only had revenue go up from 76%, again, coming from a small base. This is back in Q2 2020, Q1 in 2022. So over the past 2 years, this is not showing 1 year, this is showing 2-year growth. We've doubled our clients, but only went up on our revenue 76%. Arnie's point here is that if we've doubled our clients, but revenues are only up 74% over the past 2 years, eventually those clients are going to have to pay more, and that revenue is going to catch up, which means the revenue explosion is coming. And we saw our guidance went from 17% to 21%. Now, if that goes from 21% to 22%, things are going to get pretty exciting. Here's another metric that I really liked. Revenue per employee exploded to $700,000 an employee. In Robinhood, this revenue metric is also really exciting because it went up to $1 million per employee. And so as you can see right here, CRM, 500,000 employees, ServiceNow 400,000, Snowflake 400,000, and a lot of them are paying sales and marketing people, so their revenue per employee decreases. Palantir primarily has engineers that are doing the sales and marketing because they're at these boot camps. I actually had dinner with a Palantir employee over the weekend in New York City, and he just got back from a boot camp. And so this guy's like grinding every single week, going to all these different states doing boot camps, and he's worth the money that he's being paid because he's generating alpha for the business. And now, in the context of the business, he's worth $700,000 to Palantir, given the employees that they have. They also had 2% of layoffs. So some people did quit because of the whole Israel-Palestine things, right? They just didn't agree with CARP. But also Palantir fired people last quarter, right? They fired 2% of the company because those people, I guess, just weren't performing, whatever reason they had. So they were able to get more effective with less people. And now it's just going to be a question of if they can continue to overall scale. So my perspective on Palantir is simple. I think $20 is exciting because, and if it stays $20 at the end of the year, it's going to be really exciting because I think I'll have some more money by the end of the year and I will just buy more. Because if the business continues to perform, even if the stock is not catching up with it, then, I mean, it's just one of those things you like to see as a long-term shareholder. And it's not really something I'm, losing sleep at night over, especially because I think Karp is leading the company and he's going to make sure that this ship heads in the right direction, and we'll see how it plays out. All right, this is going to be exciting market open, 9:30 a.m. Monday, May 13th. We are back in the studio. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Stock market is now open. Palantir opens up $20.72, up 0.38%. GameStop, 52% on the day. 52% on the day. Stock-based compensation is below 20% of revenues for the first time. That's another big thing. Stock-based comp for Palantir for the first time in 4 years is below 20% of revenues. Again, every metric, even Robinhood is 10% of revenues now. Every metric, it is approved across the board. The stock hasn't reflected that. That's okay. In my opinion, I think there's an opportunity there. Okay, so GameStop's up 47%. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this candle plays out. There's a lot of buy-side orders probably coming in, people that are ready to get into the action that have not gotten in over the past 24 hours. A lot of pre-market action was taken on GameStop. Overnight trading was pumped GameStop up 40%. I'm curious now on, look at all the green orders coming in. Wow. I think I just saw one for like 15,000 shares. Yeah, I wonder how much red is actually there. How many people are actually going to sell and take their profits out? I mean, remember, there are people that have been sitting on GameStop for like $7, $8 for the past 2 years. They're sitting on a 4x right now, or a 3x. I mean, those people, you've got to imagine those people are getting a little excited. But granted, if they didn't sell at 7, they're probably not selling at 25, quite frankly, which is why it's going to be a hard stock, I think, to get back down below from a sell side pressure perspective in terms of just people using the momentum for liquidity. We'll go back to that in a second. We'll see what's going on. Apple at 185. We got the OpenAI news partnership that's rumored but likely happening. OpenAI is going to start their thing at 11:30. At 11:30 a.m. it looks like. So okay, so at 11:30 we'll go live and we'll stream what OpenAI is doing. S&P at 522. We're like $1 away from all-time highs. IWM, I didn't know the small caps were slowly creeping up. We're at 206 on IWM. That's incredible. SoFi 705, Tesla 169, Nvidia 903, Coinbase 203, Shopify 5936. Wow, Shopify just demolished on earnings. We've got to go deeper into their numbers because the street just hated their earnings, even though they beat on every metric. But they're down about 21%. Bitcoin 62,800. HIMS is at 1241. Celsius 8470 after going down to 68 after their earnings. Palantir 2082. Robinhood 1674 trying to make its way back to $17, up 2.87%. On Robinhood, AMC up 13%. Not as explosive as GameStop, but there is some momentum there on AMC. DJT, I think, is up like 5%. Trump, 4.39%. So the DGen portfolio of DJT, AMC, GameStop, and then we'll add Reddit there, even though I think Reddit is actually, they had really good earnings on their last quarter. Reddit's up 6% as well. Those four stocks, theoretically, could beat the market this year if things play out the way they want to play out. GameStop still up 43% on the day as we're seeing some momentum. Chris says, I bet GameStop rallies hard to recreate the prior wins and then everyone dumps to capture money just to say they were part of history. Yeah, I mean, that could happen. I think, you could see GameStop go to like $60, $70. So like another 2-3x from here. And then people, take their money out. And a lot of times people just want to be part of the story, and they're going to dump, $10,000, which is like a small part of a lot of people's portfolio just to have some fun with it. And that adds up globally over time. My skepticism is how much momentum is there for the, again, Occupy Wall Street, stick it to the hedge funds type of mentality. I think Roaring Kitty has to start live streaming every day, right? He has to really start like building that community again. And I don't know if he wants to do that. Netflix right here at 614, Netflix at 556. Seems like the dip was good. Netflix almost at the levels it was at right before earnings. So Netflix quietly came right back up after earnings, which is, it's just funny to see that happen, dude. Netflix had a great earnings stock. This is what I'm saying about Palantir and Robinhood. Netflix had a phenomenal earnings. They beat subscribers by 5 million, and they tanked basically 20%, or I think 15%, 17%. They got to like 540, 555. They're almost right back to where they were right before earnings. I think they were like 624 right before. So they're very close to that. I think Palantir and Robinhood are going to show the same thing. Really good earnings, but eventually the street catches up with them. Just they weren't in the mood to give them the pump at that time, which is the same thing with Amazon. Amazon's now at all-time highs, but it barely moved after earnings, even though it had good earnings as well. Amazon 187, because sometimes you just need the macro to clear up a little bit for the street to get more excited. S&P at 521, Apple at 184. Let's look at the other Mag 7s. We got Meta, Microsoft at 414, Meta at 470. Meta's down 1%, Google 167, Amazon 187. Nvidia, again, above 900, May 22nd. Save the day on your calendars. If Nvidia screws up, I think this market's getting headed for a nice 10% downturn. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Nvidia's GPU demand is out of this world. I think if anything, they might increase guidance. And if that's the case, Tesla here at 170, we're going to see a lot of momentum from Nvidia as well. Okay, so we got that momentum happening here. Who's in GameStop? Put in the chat. Who's in GameStop? Put in the chat if you're actually in GameStop. A couple other stories I'm going to pull up while I look at the comments, but I'm curious who's actually who initiated position even today if you're going to GameStop. Alibaba, yes, this is what I was going to talk about. So China did something interesting today. Okay, Alibaba's up 4%. They have earnings tomorrow pre-market. What did China do? They are selling a crap ton of bonds. Ultra sovereign bonds. So Chinese authorities have announced the sale of 1 trillion yuan, which is $138 billion of ultra long special sovereign bonds as Beijing ramps up spending to stimulate the economy. That is why BABA is pumping, because the Chinese are finally starting to do something about the lack of capitalism in their markets, and whether it's through bonds, whether through equities, they lowered the SSR for the bank restrictions. I mean, they're doing a ton of things to try to get global investors to be excited again. Alibaba is, I think, the most undervalued company on planet Earth. The risk is China. And I think China's trying to be like, hey, it's not that big of a risk, but 4% pump is nice. This thing should be at like a $250 stock at a fair value. But like, it's not getting that type of momentum because, people are scared of China. So until China really makes it seem exciting, I don't think that one's going to continue to move. PayPal here at 63.76, Open Door 2.4, SoFi 703, and then the S&P 500 522 on the day. Tesla right here at 171 as well. GME is halted. Okay, so we got the halt on GME. That is happening everywhere, guys. It's not just happening on Robinhood. It's happening everywhere. But all the comments on Twitter were like, "Oh my God, it's halted again." Blah blah. Yeah. So there you go. We got a halt. It's up like 60% right now. So it's halted 26.89. As it reopens, it'll probably go higher because now the halt is a bullish halt. It doesn't seem to be a bearish halt. So we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. And again, I think what's going to be interesting here is just how much liquidity can enter into the system to keep it going. It looks like usually these halts last for like 10 minutes. It's up 54%. Wow. So we'll see when it gets unhalted, but wow, there you go. And again, this is not unreasonable for it to be halted, dude. It's up 54% in 7 minutes. That's absolutely reasonable for it to be halted. This is every exchange is trying to figure out how do we make sure we have enough shares to offer people. How do we make sure there's certain regulatory bodies that govern brokerages to make sure that consumers get the tightest bid-ask spread, no matter if they're buying on Robinhood, IBKR, Schwab, Fidelity. These are like actual entities that exist on the planet. I'm forgetting the name of these guys, but like there's a bunch of acronyms for these organizations that make sure the spread is not harmful to consumers. So I'm sure all these brokerages right now are trying to figure out, all right, how do we make sure we can continue offering these shares to the public? But it looks like the momentum's there to get them to continue offer shares. And that's going to keep going higher. Chris says Palantir looks to be retesting 21 up or down after. It might drop to mid 19 this week. I think Palantir could definitely go under 20. I think the problem is there is so much momentum to get Palantir in that low $20 range. We haven't seen below 20 since February 5th. It's been almost 3 months. So I don't know. It's going to be tough to see below 20. Could it happen? Yeah. But again, the S&P at 522, I don't know if Palantir takes a nice dip to the 15, 16 range like people are expecting if the S&P is at 520. S&P falls to 500, yeah, that's probably going to happen, especially if Palantir doesn't pump from here. Same thing with Robinhood. Robinhood could touch 1450 again if that happens, but the market's holding up really well because the Big Seven did well. Let's hope Nvidia does well. And if that's the case, I don't know if Palantir gets that hit badly. Okay, what do people say in the comments if they own GameStop? Do we have people? Do we have people in the comments owning GameStop? We have like 5 people that own GameStop. There's not a lot of you guys. There's only like 10 people that commented that they have GameStop. Okay, so a lot of the chat does not have GameStop. A lot of the chat does not have GameStop. Michael says, Amit, do you think these meme stocks are taking business from Vegas and other gambling sites? No, not really. The meme stocks are a very small part of the gambling culture that exists on like DraftKings and in Vegas in general. So no, I mean, it's just another form of being a degenerate. But I don't think it's necessarily taking away from that business. Reddit's up 12%. So Reddit could be a supplementary pump. Their earnings actually were really good. They're almost profitable. And they beat revenue by like 40 million. So I think they actually had a good earnings. I got to glance through it. Does it deserve to be up 12% after pumped already? I don't know. But this pump could be because, and quite frankly, this pump makes sense. If Wall Street Bets continues to conglomerate around the GameStop AMC saga that might end up playing out over the coming months, Reddit's going to get a ton of more users. They beat on daily active users as well. So maybe that's the way that the market interprets Reddit as a derivative of GameStop. And as a result, they pump it higher. And maybe Reddit's numbers show that, hey, more users are engaged, even if it's temporary for a few quarters. But we'll see how that plays out. DJT up 6% right now at $54. And then AMC up 20% on the day. AMC has not been halted. Robinhood at $16.64, up 2.59%. Palantir 2088, and GameStop still halted right now at $26.89. All right, we're back. We're back in action. Halt is done. GameStop now 57%. GameStop is at 57% up. It's not stopping. 27.48 GameStop. Let's see if it hits 30 today. I mean, that's it doesn't, the sell side pressure is not really coming in because this thing is, yeah, look at that. It's about to head to 28. Wow. It's at $28, guys. Holy crap. That is incredible on GameStop. That's kind of crazy, dude. That's kind of crazy. GameStop plus 57% in 11 minutes. Wow. I'm just tweeting this right now. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty insane. And look, it's going to 29 right there. It's going from 29. Dylan, may you share your Derek's VC email address? Yeah, let me put in the chat, emitderekfund@gmail for anyone who has an interesting idea and wants to get venture funded. Send your pitch deck to this, but we're still looking for deals, guys. We haven't invested in a deal yet. Actually, Derek ended up investing in a deal with his own money. I'm not going to say the deal, but it's a really exciting deal. And he got to invest in it last week because he gets access to all these special deals. And he threw some cash in there. It was a really cool deal. But yeah, that was with his money, not with the fund. So if you guys have any ideas, please email that email and send some decks. Okay, so GameStop's now at 29.47. I think this is gonna get halted again, dude. It's up 68%. It was up 57% 2 seconds ago. Now it's at 60. I think it got halted again. There you go. Got halted in 2 minutes. Wow. Got halted again. Got halted again. Got halted again. Wow. Wow. Oh, no, now it's not halted. Now it's not halted. Is it halted still? No, it's halted. The market is not able to deal with this volatility, dude. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Dude, that's kind of insane. Halt. I don't think I've seen, I mean, I haven't seen something like this since 2021. Halted in 2 times in 5 minutes, basically. Less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes, bro. That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild, dude. Where's the podcast with Sham? Okay, so for Arnie and I did do a podcast with Sham Sanker. We're gonna release it this week. We didn't get to release it last week, but we're gonna release it next week, and hopefully you guys enjoy that one. It was a really fun one. He was an awesome guy. Actually sat down and talked with us. So yeah, we'll release that soon. But dude, this is kind of crazy. 29.47 up 68%. 28 million shares have been traded. Where's the other ones? Okay, Reddit's up 12%. Palantir's up 20.96. Palantir's trying to go back to 21. Not bad. Again, at 20s, I bought 50 shares last week at 20, but I think at 20, that's a nice little magnet for Palantir. And if it glows below 20, then whatever. But I don't think 20 is a bad price at all, just given the growth that we saw. Robinhood at 16.78. Even Robinhood at this price, I think I bought 50 shares from my dad yesterday at 16.29 in the overnight market. So my dad initiated his position in Robinhood as well. So that's up 3%. AMC up 25%. AMC's mooning. AMC 25% is no joke. That's nice to see for AMC. So if you just got in, you're up 25% of the day. And then GameStop still halted. Still halted. Wow. Wow. Okay, are we good? Am I back? Can you hear me? Oh my gosh, dude. Freaking SEC, the SEC, someone shut this thing down. Can you guys hear me? Yes, are we back? Are we back?
Yeah, are we good?
Dude, what the fuck is going on? What a weird morning, bro. Holy crap. Yeah, it was my internet. I just connected to my phone. And so it's on my phone now. You guys can see me, but that was weird, dude. All right, GameStop's at 81% up. Let me know if the stream is kind of screwed up or something, but yeah, there we go. 81%. We're back on my phone, so it should be okay. That was weird, dude. It's kind of like the internet is just halted across my house on every device. It's not even my Mac, so it's not the MacBook. Every device it's halted. Oh, now it's working? Wow, now it's working on my other computer. This is so weird that happened right when it was there. But we're here. Okay, GameStop's halted 3 times in a row. 3170 on GameStop, up 81%. Wow, dude, up 81%. Holy crap. I don't think anyone expected this morning. Thank you for everyone who stayed. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry. That was just weird. That was very, very weird. But we got Robinhood. What? Where's Robinhood? Robinhood back up to 17. Wow. Robinhood's pumping with GameStop up 5%. Palantir's up 1.83%. And then GameStop, dude. This is kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy. So here we go. GameStop is up 80% and has been halted 3 times in the past 10 minutes. Wow. Amid they crashed E-Trade. Yeah, I think someone just tweeted about that. I just saw. Yeah, here we go. Look, E-Trade here. Someone George tweeted about this. Again, thanks guys for being here. I'm sorry the internet was super weird. I don't know. Maybe GameStop got. I don't know. The internet is connected with GameStop, but let's just say it's connected. Yeah, look at this. Look at E-Trade. I kind of hope E-Trade fucks everybody because then Robinhood's not getting the bulk of the blame. Can E-Trade just screw everybody's orders so that everyone can focus on E-Trade instead of Robinhood now as like this one's funny. Amit had an emergency meeting with Vlad. That's actually hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That's fucking hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. Did you guys remember when Vlad was on the stream? I showed my dad last night because he didn't get to watch the interview when Vlad said, so I noticed I've been watching your streams and you don't use our product for the web. And my dad was like, did he really just say that? My dad's like, is he really watching your shit? I was like, yeah, maybe that's what he said. I'm not putting words in his mouth. So that was pretty funny. But no, I did not have an emergency meeting with Vlad. I had an emergency meeting with fucking Optimum, dude. I got to call them today and be like, this cannot happen again. My internet cannot blow out like this. It's fucking insane, dude. I think I need to switch providers or something. The problem is Verizon is not available in this part of New Jersey. So that's where we're stuck with Optimum. But we got to have like a generator, a backup or something, because this can't happen, especially not when GameStop's going up 81%. All right, so Robinhood 1713 up 5%. We did talk about in the morning, hey, Robinhood's going to benefit from GameStop. It's a big part of GameStop. GameStop's a big thing on their platform. I mean, imagine one ticker on your app, which is the top 10 ticker, is up 80% in a day. Your assets under custody are going to go up, right? They're going to get higher. So here's the Robinhood Investor Index. Let me show you guys this real quick. Then we'll go to CNBC because CNBC has got to be covering this. Let's see. These are the top 10 stocks on Robinhood. I hate to say that GameStop and DJT are there. I know. I hate it as much as you guys hate it. I don't like that GameStop and DJT are the top 10 stocks on the platform. It shows that the platform is still a bit more memey. And that's why we need a lot of people bringing the retirement assets and moderning the platform and making it grow up. But the rest of the companies aren't that bad. Right? I think Ford is there because Robinhood gave out Ford for free like 5 years ago to a lot of people that signed up. But the other stocks are normal. Then you have GameStop and then DJT. DJT is stupid for being there. GameStop has been there for 4 or 5 years now, and that thing is going to go a lot higher, I think, or that's going to help Robinhood as GameStop goes a lot higher. Wow, so we're still halted. We're still halted on GameStop. Let's go to CNBC. I saw no coverage of it in the morning. I think they were kind of like afraid to cover this show. Or it's afraid to cover this saga again, but they have to be covering it now. There's no way they're not covering it. Let's see if there's any coverage at all on this, on GameStop. They're talking about Apple. They're talking about Squarespace. They're talking about oil. They're talking about inflation. Wow, they did not talk about GameStop at all. Dude, this is the hottest story. How are they not covering GameStop? They're not covering GameStop. Are they? Nope. They are covering Apple and ARM. ARM is looking to develop some AI chips. That's going to be really interesting, but they're not covering GameStop. Okay, what else do we have? GameStop 3170 up 81%. Reddit is up 10%. DJT is up 9%. Palantir 2115. All right, not bad. Palantir 2115. We're up 3% on Palantir. Look, Palantir deserves to be 24. By the way, but Palantir started buying their stock at $24. So I would imagine that they think they're fairly valued at $21. Let's see how that happens. Also, I forgot to mention this. Our boy Peter Thiel did sell 7 million shares. He sold a lot and actually, no, he sold 13 million shares. He sold a lot of shares. So that also is what hurt Palantir. Now, are people saying, oh, Peter Thiel doesn't believe in Palantir? No. Dude, Peter Thiel's had these shares since 2006. He's done this with Meta. He's done this with every public company he's been part. Like, you have to sell at some point. It's 2006. Like, at some point, you're going to take your profits, right? So to me, I'm not too worried about him selling, but that is an explanation for why he sold. So he still has over 140 million shares right there, as you can see. And he did sell 13 million shares, sold 6.2 million, then 1.6 million, 5 million. So he cashed out, still has a lot of shares, but it is one thing that he did, and that also hurt the stock over the week, right? Dropped to 20%. Palantir 2117, is GameStop back? Wow, GameStop got halted again. It just went from 31 to 33, went up another 9%, went from 80% to 90%, and it is halted for the 4th time. Peter Thiel's cost basis is like 6 cents, dude. So like, can you really blame him? I mean, like he's held on for a very long time. At this point, like you're eventually going to take your profits. So I don't think it's that big of a deal that he sold. But yeah, he did sell, and we are seeing GameStop halted for the 4th time. Oh my goodness, dude. This is kind of insanity, don't you think? This is insanity. This is wild, bro. Holy crap. SoFi shorts are covering in fear. Where's SoFi? Oh my God. Could they do this to SoFi? Could they just squeeze SoFi? Wow. SoFi's up 4%. Holy crap. Why are the shorts? Wow. Let me check my SoFi options. Am I break even on those yet? Oh yeah, I'm like close to break even. I'm like 2 cents away from break even on those. Okay, look on GameStop. Robinhood's like, Robinhood's so funny, dude. Look at Robinhood. Some exchanges have temporarily halted trading of GME. Wait, is it true? Can you buy GameStop here? Yes, you can. You can buy GameStop. Okay, I'm tweeting this. This is so funny. Robinhood's like, hey guys, it's not us. It's not us. Do not blame us again. We're not fucking going through this shit again. This is hilarious, dude. Oh my God, this is so funny. Robinhood's like, it's not us, mother effers. It's not. Vlad's like, right. Vlad probably texted his engineer. He was like, I'm sending you a message. Put this message at the very top of that fucking stock so that no one has any fucking, no one misconstrues anything going on right now, okay? We're not fucking playing around. We're not ruining the best quarter in history that we've ever had as a public company. $618 million by this GameStop nonsense. That's hilarious, dude. That's actually I'm not buying a share, dude. I'm not participating in this. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm not doing it. But it is fun to see this happening. I got to tweet this. LMFAO Robinhood making sure that people know you can buy GameStop on their app this time. This is kind of now. Granted, to Robinhood's credit, they do have a better infrastructure to support this, right? They do have a lot better infrastructure to support this, so they should be able to do this. But dude, this is crazy. Up 90. Who got into GameStop? Be honest now. I asked you guys last time, and not enough. There's only like 5 people that responded. I feel like some people were scared to tell me who actually got into GameStop. Who's in this thing? Like, be honest now. Don't be afraid to admit it. I'm sure some people had it, but they just didn't admit it. Robin at 1714, Palantir 2108, DJT up 9%, SoFi, wow, up 4% on the day. Not bad. Ryan got in at $28. I just got in at $16. That's not bad. That's nice. You got in at a good price. I bought 5,000 worth of GameStop, up 15%. Bought one share, got 16, got in at 25. I got in last night at 21. Dude, that's crazy, bro. That is so crazy. That's actually wild. I'm Beneficial says that's not true. They've had this message for all the stock halts. Okay, that's fine, but still, it's hilarious to see it on the GameStop one. They probably had a universal message for every time a stock got halted, but it is hilarious to see them have it on GameStop. They're just like, guys, you can buy this shit on GameStop. Can I actually buy it on? I'm gonna buy $1 of it just to make sure that I can actually buy on Robinhood. So I'm buying $1, literally $1. I just want to test if I can buy it. $1. Swipe up to submit. Can I buy it on Robinhood? Is it going to go? Wow, I bought. Oh, no, it's a market order. It's been placed. Well, that's probably because. Okay, so it'll potentially fill, is what it's saying. It'll fill. So it's not like the buy button's gone or anything. It's a queue order to fill. Oh, no, I think it filled. Yeah, it filled. I filled. Or it looks like it filled, or it's about to fill. Wow, it's back up 35%. Wow, 101%. Oh, my God, 101%. 101%. 101%. It filled. My order filled. I bought $1. Okay, I'm gonna leave this stupid $1 in there. I honestly bought $1 just so it would show up in the tickers in the beginning, so I don't have to search for it. So that's the reason I bought it. But there you go. I'm in GameStop. I have $1. So it's up 110%, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. 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 110%. 3670. I think it's gonna get halted again. It just went from 90% to 110%. Guys, it just went up 20% in like 10 seconds, maybe. Ever since I put in the order and it got filled, I think it got halted again. It got halted again. It had to. It's not moving. It got halted again. It got halted again. This is the 5th time it got halted. Holy crap, bro. This is crazy. E-Trade's still down. Thank goodness. I'm sorry for those that have E-Trade, but it's time for someone else to take the blame for this shit. So it's time for someone else. Oh my goodness. So we still have Reddit that's moving. Reddit's up 10%. I'm just kidding about E-Trade. But like, yeah, I would imagine for every brokerage right now, it's hard to deal with a stock that's up 110%, dude. It's not easy to deal with that. It's not easy to deal with that. Whoa. So there you go. I think is it halted for you guys? That's stuck at 3670 for everybody, right? It's stuck at 3670 for me. It's not moving. It doesn't say halted, but it has to be halted. This is a gamma squeeze. This could be a gamma squeeze, dude. Palantir 2110, Robin at 1697, AMC is up 21% now, Apple at 185, IWM 206, DNA 81 cents, Tesla 174, Shopify 58. By the way, Kathy's getting rid of all of her Teladoc. She's selling a ton of that Teladoc, so that's gone. SoFi 718, S&P 520, and then you've got GameStop. It's halted again. It doesn't say halted on Webull, but it's definitely halted. There's no way it stays stuck at 3670. Like that. Wow. This is kind of crazy, dude. I did not expect Monday morning to start like this. Wow. It's kind of crazy. 2021 over again. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see if this is... Look, I mean, if you're up 100% right now, I mean, unless you feel some moral indignation to hold GameStop, if someone's giving you liquidity, it's not the worst thing in the world to take it. That's all I'll say. But I don't know. This type of meteoric rise in a day, I mean, 100% in a day. So the market cap has doubled in a day. They've added $6 billion of market cap in 30 minutes. The question is, are people willing to keep going? Let's go to StockTwits. Let's see what's going on StockTwits. That's where a lot of these GameStop people live, and that's where they talk. So let's go to that, and let's see what people are saying. That thing must be exploding right now. Tycoon says, I'm up 100,000, not selling. All right, there you go. You got some people that are going to keep holding. Yeah, so this thing is upgrading every single second. As you can see, this thing is going crazy. What a horrible mess. E-Trade cost me over $12,000 being able to log in. No one's talking about Robinhood. That's a good thing. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, look at this. Look at the memes that are like it's just filled with craziness here. And Roaring Kitty did this, guys. That one tweet. For those that are new here, for those that didn't see the tweet, this is what happened last night. If you didn't see it, Roaring Kitty put out a tweet, and that tweet is what led to this thing happening, to this thing actually going down. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Again, I'm still on my hotspot, so I'm just trying to be a little careful, not overstrain the system. Am I breaking a little bit? Am I breaking? So this is the tweet. Can you guys see it? Let me pull up on my phone, make sure it's going good. Okay. Okay, at least you guys can hear the audio. But this is the tweet for those that didn't see. This is the tweet. He put this out last night, and he woke up, essentially. That was the idea. This guy officially woke up. All right, let me go back to Webull. Let me get rid of any other tabs I have open to make sure we don't stress the Wi-Fi. Okay, we should be good. We should be good. We should be good. Okay, cool. 3670. 3670. 3670. Amit, not a gamer. He don't get it. No, I know the meme. I know the meme. It's the GameStop meme. I know the context of the meme. But the point is he did wake up, right? He did wake up, and that's what he said. Everything's good, right? Stream's good. You guys can see it. Let me know if the stream audio is messed up or anything. So, okay. Robinhood's back at $17.14. GameStop is still halted. Palantir's at $21.70. It doesn't say it's halted, but it absolutely is halted here at $36.70. And I think this thing is, I mean, dude, if this thing's okay, so it's back. We're back. Going up. We're at 37. It's up 117%. Wow, it is still going. Okay. Now we went down to 34, 99%. Look at the buy orders. They're just coming in. They're not stopping. It looks like it got halted again, even though it's not really halted. Oh no, it's halted. It's halted. Officially got halted again. 34. Holy crap, dude. Holy freaking crap. Insane. My portfolio is up $23,000 today. And that's not because I have a lot of money in GameStop. It's because I have a lot of money in the casino in which GameStop is going to be traded on, which is Robinhood. And Robinhood decides to go up 6% as of right now. I think because of GameStop. Could you imagine? Like, this is GameStop is a bigger catalyst than $11 billion in deposits, dude. Fucking crazy. I bet Robinhood employees are watching right now. Shout out to the Robinhood employees, dude. This GameStop stock is definitely helping you guys today. Dude, this is insane. Reddit is up 10%. Now, if Roaring Kitty actually does a live stream, then things are going to get kind of crazy, because then you're going to have a face to everything that's happening. MicroStrategy is up 5.7% on the day. CleanSpark's up 7%. Coinbase is at 202. Cypher 3910 up 5%. HUD 8 Morning up 3.38. Yeah, the crypto plays are doing well. We got Tesla at 175 here. We got Apple at 185. So Tesla, Apple doing okay. And then you've got GameStop just continuing to. I'm gonna make a new watch list. I'm gonna call it DGen. So we're gonna put a new watch list here. So in the watch list, we are gonna put GameStop. We're gonna put AMC. We're gonna put DJT, and we're gonna put Reddit. And this is gonna be where we look at all of our DGen plays. GameStop here at 34.87, dude. Wow. SoFi's at 727. Can we please get SoFi to $8, dude? Can this thing just get back to $8 freaking dollars? Oh, by the way, you guys saw I did a podcast with Tanner over the weekend. He's investing in Robinhood now. And we talked a little bit about SoFi, and he's still bullish on SoFi, but at this point, he's just realizing Robinhood now up 6.25%. It's becoming the platform SoFi ultimately wants to become in regards to user experience, deposits, etc. So he did initiate a position. Makes sense. He's one of the best fintech YouTubers on the planet. So from a fintech perspective, I don't think you can miss out on Robinhood. So he's into that one now. AMC has a nice red candle. Went from 21% to 10%. That's interesting. GameStop, when it gets unhalted, we'll see if it follows the same fate as AMC, because that one just got the other way around. But that's there. Dude, your screen was blank. I had to tolerate Meet Kevin for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, dude. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for being here again. I'm so sorry it was blank. It was just what is it? What is Meet Kevin must be covering this as well right now, right? Oh man, dude. Oh man. This is kind of crazy. Meet Kevin actually participated. I think he bought GameStop and AMC during the last one. I think he got a lot of shit because he bought like 400,000 of AMC at $40 back in February 2021. And then he kind of sold, or he kind of just like didn't give an update on it. And a lot of the apes got really upset at him. At least that's what I understand. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, he pissed off a lot of apes back then. Admit the Roaring Kitty meme doesn't mean he's waking up, by the way. It means he's getting in the zone. Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying, I just said casually he's waking up. That's what I meant. Like, he's waking, because it's been 3 years, right? So that's what I mean by it's been 3 years. The guy's finally waking up back into the media scene. But it is a GameStop meme, and the original GameStop meme has blue colors. He used red colors, which was also really interesting. Because GameStop tweeted that meme a couple of days ago as well. And so he changed the colors from blue to red, which was also just very peculiar. This is very peculiar in terms of how this was playing out. Again, this is the meme for those that haven't seen it. We are waiting for GameStop to be unhalted and see what happens. But dude, this got 12 million views. Let's look at his analytics. He's gotten 615,000. Last night, he was at 489,000 followers. He's gotten over 115,000 followers in 24 hours. Insane, dude. Insane. the amount of people that must have like knew about Roaring Kitty but never knew he had a Twitter or discovered him for the first time or looking at his old videos or all that stuff, like they must be discovering him for the first time and they're following because he was a big character when this all played out a couple years ago. And so they're discovering him for the first time and he's getting a lot of attention because this Robinhood 1735. But dude, 115,000 people following you in one day. I mean, if all of them bought 10 shares, you're looking at 1 million shares already just because they like GameStop. And a lot of those people have probably more money to buy more than 10 shares. They're probably buying 10,000 shares, right? So it's like the level of influence that one meme had equivocates to 99%, at least right now, as GameStop is halted, which is just insanity, the world we're living in. It's just insanity what's happening. Andrew Tate's already up 100%. Yeah, Andrew. Okay, so it's back. It's falling. It's back. We're falling. We're getting some red candles. People are selling. Oh boy, it's falling. Went from 34 to 31. Let's see if it holds. Let's see if it holds. $30, 31. Okay, so there's definitely some sell side pressure coming in right now. There's probably a lot of orders. And the psychological thing is that once there's all the sell side pressure, do people sell with it, right? When they see their gains evaporate. That's something that sucks for a lot of people when that happens. I'm looking at the bid ask spread on Robinhood. I'm looking at the book volume. I mean, there's definitely people selling, but it looks like there's still enough to maintain. Still 87% in a day, dude. Buy the dip. I'm already down on my dollar, right? I'm already down on the dollar I put in. Let's see. That dollar has to be down a little bit. That dollar is, yeah, I'm down 11% on that dollar. That's crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, okay, so it's falling now. It looks like a lot of that momentum has been torn off. It would need to reaccelerate, which means Roaring Kitty would probably need to go live, to be honest, and rile up the troops. If you bought at the top, well, we'll see. It was 37 the top, dude. Was 30. And also, if Elon tweets, I forgot about Elon. What if Elon says, hey, guys, power to the players or something like that, right? I mean, that could be another catalyst that gets the ball rolling as well. So there's a lot of things that could end up impacting how this thing ends up playing out. $30 right now, still holding 30. DJT's up 7%. Robinhood, 17.28. Palantir, 20.98. AMC, $3.30. SoFi, 7.26. Nice gain on SoFi. Hopefully that can maintain that momentum. And then GameStop below 30 now. 29.99. Below 30. Huh. Interesting. Imagine he goes live and he says Avengers Assemble. It got halted again. Yeah, it got halted again. Amit shouldn't have put all of his savings in GME. You're right. I should not have put all my savings in GameStop. Yeah, it got halted again. Dude, this is incredible to see happening again. What do you think it speaks to from a socio-political perspective? Do you think it speaks to pure degeneracy? Or do you think it speaks to the wealth inequality that exists and people trying to get a upper hand in life by like the easy way out? Or do you think it speaks to like the cult following of communities on the internet? Like, what, from a philosophical perspective, what do you think this moment in time represents? I honestly think it represents, I think it represents, I don't think it represents a middle finger to the establishment. I think it represents people that want an ability to find access to opportunities that they may not have access to if they're not in particular positions. And GameStop and AMC has always been seen as like the opportunity of a lifetime if enough people in a community banded together and they bought it. Like the Palantir community, we believe in like the long-term vision of Palantir, therefore we're all excited about it. Whereas GameStop, it's like this is just like a catalyst. It's not about the stock. It's not about the video games. It's not about anything other than it is an embodied catalyst of what we need to be able to achieve something that only the elite in society have had access to. But I don't think that's sticking it to the hedge funds, because in 2021, it was about GameStop being over 100% short, which was like unheard of, right? For some companies, you're not supposed to short a company more than the shares that are literally available in the float. I don't think that's necessarily the case this time. I think it's more about asymmetric opportunities that people don't have access to. Unbeneficial said FOMO. Okay, FOMO also answers my question. It's also FOMO. Like at the end of the day, we don't have to get that deep. I guess it's FOMO. Yeah, you guys are probably right. It's just FOMO. It's not anything else other than FOMO. Well, there you go. My friend has 7,000 shares of GME. Did he buy them right now, Carla, or did he buy them before? When did he get them in? Fear and greed index should be at 100 at this point. Well, here's the other thing about GameStop that worries me, okay? I don't like that GameStop's pumping also, because I kind of want the markets to sustain their momentum. And it kind of does feel like a top when GameStop's up 100% in a day. But then again, I think also, this is why I was trying to get to, what do you think this moment of time represents? I don't think it's a top in the market. I think it's just pure degeneracy and people that have been waiting for this moment for so long, and they need this catalyst, and like FOMO that's embodying itself in one equity, which is GameStop, but not the broader market. Because I think Robinhood up 6% deserves to be up 6% right now. Palantir's up 1 point, like that's deserved right now. DJT up 8%, probably that's not deserved, but still, right? The companies that are doing well, Google at 164, Apple at 185, I think they deserve it. Small caps at 206, I think that's okay with the IWM. I don't think GameStop pumping is creating a massive pump across the market that's undeserved for the market, like it was back in 2021. I don't know if that's the case. A lot of built-up pressure. Yep, I agree. There's a lot of built-up pressure. There's no fundamental changes to the company. Oh, people have savings and are having fun. That's another thing. Savings are tending to be a bit higher for the average consumer, even though credit card debt is also getting up there. But that's happening as well. Why is GameStop running other than his tweet? It is literally only the tweet. The tweet got viewed 12 million times. And when a tweet gets viewed that many times, yeah, you're going to have people that are tuning in to see what the hell is going on. I don't see CNBC covering yet this stuff. Let me check on my phone if they're covering it at all. It doesn't seem like they care. I think they're waiting to see, does this thing actually have momentum, or is this thing like a one-time thing? Rocket Lab, is Rocket Lab up right now? Where's Rocket Lab? Rocket Lab 4.3. Rocket Lab's up 5%. Not bad. Rocket Lab's up 5%. Yeah, no coverage I'm looking at about GameStop. Nothing. They're talking about Intel, which Intel, by the way, it looks like they're getting $1 billion investment. So that's, oh, here we go. We got some coverage. Okay, I'm just going to show it on my phone, because honestly, I think if I show it on my computer, well, yeah, the Wi-Fi is going to get killed. So let me just show it here. I'll just play it. You guys can hear the audio while we're looking at some stocks. Here we go. Let's put this right here. Okay.
30 minutes here into the trading session. Here are three big movers we're watching. Biotech player Insight, a top gainer on the one of GameStop's most prominent backers, returning to social media. That's Keith Gill, also known as Roaring Kitty. Highly recommend the movie.
It's back. Okay, so I'll let her talk while it's going.
10%. So this is a little deja vu of the meme craze, up 110%. We're going to talk more about this in a bit. And then watch Intel today as well, reportedly in advanced talks with the...
Wow, it was 10 seconds, dude. It was 10 seconds. I guess they'll have some coverage later, but all right, it's falling. It looks like, look, if it ends the day at even freaking, $21, it'll still be up 20%, but it looks like there might be some bag holders today if this thing doesn't start pumping back up. Yeah, it's not just going up in a straight line anymore. It's not just going up in a straight line. There's a ton of sellers that are taking advantage of this. There's a ton of people trying to get some liquidity out of GameStop. Miami Sands has just bought 500 shares of AMC for side action, but def buying the dip on GameStop. The apes are back, folks. Well, here's the other thing. If the apes are back and they're not leaving, it begs the question, are people ready to stay through the volatility that GameStop is going to provide, which might be down 30%, but then up 200% the next day, which happened in 2021. I mean, let's just look at their chart. Let's look at their chart over 5 years. So we were at 64 cents in 2020. I think this was after some splits they did as well. So like these are after the splits. Before the splits, it was a little bit different. 64 cents. We went up to $120 by January 2021. So, sorry, 94 cents, not 64 cents. 94 cents in basically $1 to 120. So, wow, this thing 120x'd. I was saying it 10x in the morning. No, it 120x'd. That's insane. So it was at $1 in August 2020. It was at $120 August 2021. January 2021. So in the matter of 5 months, we saw a 120x on GameStop. Then it fell all the way to $8. So it fell basically 95%. Then it pumped back to 70 by March. Then it teetered in the 40 range. And by basically, when's the low? By 4 years later, it fell to $9. Went back down 90%. Now it's at $31. So it's up 300% from the lows. It's halted again right here, up 83%, $31.98. So it got halted as it started going higher. It was at $21. It was at $29. Now it's at $31. So it was getting much higher. Without splits, it was $480. Correct. Without splits, it was $480. So again, yeah, there was a stock split. Yes, there was a stock split. So when you wait through, the other thing is, as you've waited 3 years, people are potentially thinking this is their moment after we saw that explosive upside on the max chart right here, as you can see. Absolutely explosive upside. And these are adjusted for the split, so it's the same returns, even but when they were, I think they did a 3-for-1 split, so it's a bit different from there. That's why I went to 480. But it's insane, right? It basically went from a couple bucks to $480, and now it's back here at $31.90. It's not even close to where it was last time. It's about $100 away. I mean, if that happens again, that would just be insane. Gonna sell Palantir and put it in GameStop. You know what? Me too. No, I'm just kidding. That's like, again, I'm just not participating in this one. I'm not doing it. I hope those that participate make a ton of money. I'll be very happy for you. But I'm not participating in this one. This is one where I want to stay out of this one and see how it plays out. But the point is, it's been 3 years. The thing went to $120 from $1 last time. Now it's back at $31. It's up 3x in the past basically 3 months. And it looks like the apes are back. And if the apes are back and they think this is their moment, and if Roaring Kitty goes back to live streaming, which I think is the real catalyst to get this thing moving, then there might be some momentum. Also, it's short at 25%. So eventually at some point, the shorts are going to have to cover. Remember, what happened with GameStop is one of the firms, Melvin Capital, I believe, they went out of business because they lost, I think it was like $6 billion or something like that. I'll actually pull up a video on that. They lost a lot of money, Melvin Capital, GameStop. And if that happens again, then yeah, this thing could keep running. So here's when that happened 3 years ago. Let's just revisit that moment, and then we'll go back to the stock right here. CPI's on Wednesday, not tomorrow. CPI's on Wednesday.
News right now on what has turned into the soap opera and saga of the markets right now, and that is the story of GameStop. The news to bring you right now is that Melvin Capital Management, this is the hedge fund that had shorted this company, that had effectively been attacked by an army of investors trying to push up and press up the stock of GameStop along the way. Melvin Capital is now out of the stock. They got out of the stock, from what I understand, yesterday afternoon. I just got off the telephone with Gabriel Plotkin, who runs that firm. They've taken a rather huge loss. I do not have the full number on what that loss looked like. As was reported yesterday, both Citadel and Point72 have infused something on the order of close to $3 billion into Melvin Capital to try to shore up.
So they collapsed the hedge fund. If they want to do it to the next hedge fund that's shorting them, which I don't know, I tried to get the name of it. If anyone knows the name of the hedge fund that's shorting them, please tell me, because I can't figure it out. I tried this morning. I couldn't find the data. 31.98 here, up 83% right now on GameStop, still halted. Robinhood up 7.39%. Nice to see Robinhood getting some momentum here. If that happens again for GameStop, I mean, this thing could get exciting. This thing could get very, very exciting. Okay, you guys are saying Citadel, but is Citadel short GameStop right now? This is what I tried to figure out this morning, and I couldn't figure it out. Which funds are short GameStop? Because they have a 24% short float. So I'm trying to figure out who's shorting these guys. And there's like no website that's telling me. I can't find it through the Fintel. Let me see if CNBC has anything. They have an article here. Yeah, they remember 0.72 and Citadel were shorting them, but I don't think Citadel is short this time. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's the case. At least that's not what I'm seeing here. So if anyone knows, please tell me, because we can then research the firm and like look into the firm and why they're short GameStop and like what's going on. Or is it retail that's shorting them, right? Is it retail that's shorting GameStop? Is it the is 24% just retail that's shorting? Maybe. Maybe it's not a fund, but I would imagine it's at least some type of fund. All right, we're back. 32.58. I'm going to put my phone on charge real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, cool. We're back. $32, up 84%. It's running again still. It's got to try to test 37. Got to try to test 30. Citadel short GME and AMC. I don't think it's Citadel, dude. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's Citadel. I think they got out of it. If anyone has any proof, please put it in the chat if you guys know, because I'm just curious what Wall Street firm is touching this thing right now. SoFi 723, GameStop 32.90, DJT's up 10%, Robinhood, wow, 17.50. Wow, 7.85% on the day. Do you guys think that's because of GameStop, or do you think the market's excited about their earnings? Because I was excited about their earnings. Maybe the market's waking up on their earnings, or maybe the market's like, well, GameStop is the reason we're going to buy your stock today, not $11 billion in fucking deposits. Maybe it's GameStop. GameStop getting higher now, back up 91%. It's not enough to explode like it did in the morning, but it's not enough to tank it either. But Bitcoin is 63,000. Okay, that's great. As of May 10, 2024, the following institutional investments funds have reported short positions on GameStop: Concourse Financial Group Securities, Simplex Trading. Interesting. So Concourse Financial Group Securities, if this is correct, and Simplex Trading LLC are short GameStop. Huh. And IMC Chicago. Well, that's the other thing. Did Roaring Kitty come back for one day, or is he coming back for an entire movement? That's another thing that's interesting to think about with Roaring Kitty. Robinhood 17.53, AMC is up 17%. Did Roaring Kitty come back to just make an appearance and, gain a bunch of followers on Twitter, or is he coming back to actually restart the movement? You got to ask yourself, what's the motivation for Keith Gill, right? Like, for all intended purposes, let's assume the worst of, or let's assume not the worst, but the most, how do I frame this? The most predictable parts of human nature. And the most predictable parts of human nature is that we don't know if he sold GameStop, in 2021 when it was at like $400, but let's assume he did. Let's just assume, I think he was up like $50 million. Let's assume he actually did sell GameStop. If he's made his money, then why does he want to do this? One could argue when the stock was at $7 or $9, maybe he established another really big position and he was waiting for the right moment to do the whole thing again. And so one could argue, because there has to be some type of financial motivation, dude. As much as a good guy as he was back in 2021, he still had a big position in GameStop, right? He made money. And now the key is, did he sell or not? If he didn't sell, if he comes on a live stream today or tomorrow and says, guys, here's my brokerage, I have not sold these shares for the past 5 years, I think the cult is going to get very excited, because they are going to officially kind of solidify their trust and faith in their leader, which is the kitty that's roaring. And this might end up being the Roaring 20s with Roaring Kitty leading the way because he didn't sell. And I mean, that's a big sign of trust if you did not sell through all the volatility. I mean, that's there are people that made a lot of money. If Roy and Katie, who started the movement, didn't make money from the movement, I mean, people are going to get excited, dude, and people are going to keep buying. So I guess we see Bsoft says, I think he didn't sell. He has held all this time and he's using this opportunity as a second chance to make money on his position. Maybe that's the case, dude. Maybe that is the case. Maybe his cat walked across the keyboard. Oh boy. This is so crazy. Why is the meme red? It's normally blue. Correct. The meme is normally blue. I don't know why the meme is red, actually. That's another missing part of the story that we don't understand. Robinhood's up 8.4%, folks. So Robinhood's loving this GameStop action. Reddit's up 10%. DJT's up 8.6%. And then Palantir up 1.6% on the day. The short is not nearly as big. That's correct. Again, for those that are just joining or if you forgot, and let's actually, again, I want to get some coverage from 2021 on GameStop because that thing was crazy. It was short over 100%. Like that was the catalyst for why Keith Gill realized there's an opportunity here, because he was like, wait, these hedge funds are like actually stupid. Like they're borrowing shares that don't exist. So if we just pump the stock, they will have to cover in such an aggressive way that it's going to be legendary. That was his insight that led to the pump that we saw back in 2021. It's up 85% right now, but that's not the case this time. RK posted on Reddit when he sold GME 3 years ago. But did he sell all of it? If he did, then I guess maybe he established a new position. But did he sell if he sold all of his GameStop, then yeah, I guess he's not holding any unless he reestablished a position. I would imagine he did sell something. I think there's a 1% probability he held for 5 years because people are greedy at the end of the day. And like, dude, if you're up $50 million, like, I mean, you're gonna take some profits. Siraj, thank you for the $5 super chat. You know what doesn't get halted? Bitcoin. That is true. And speaking of Bitcoin, we are at 63, basically 1,000. We need to get this sucker back to 70,000. Oh, here's a little bit of insight on Robinhood as well. Robinhood's crypto trading volumes, one of the biggest concerns I think the market has, Robinhood 1757 right now, is that Robinhood did $36 billion of notional crypto trading volumes. That's 64% of Coinbase's notional crypto trading volumes in Q1, which is insane because Coinbase is a global company. Robinhood's just in the United States. So how's Robinhood's US business doing 64% of Coinbase's entire global business for consumer? It means people are buying crypto on Robinhood. They gave the April guidance. I looked in the earnings call, the transcript. Robinhood already did $10 billion of crypto trading volumes in the month of April. So GameStop right now up 85%. Robinhood's basically done a third of crypto trading in April from all of Q1. And one of the biggest concerns for Robinhood going into Q2 is that crypto is going to fall off a cliff and they're not going to be able to recreate those volumes. I think that's probably true. They're not going to be able to recreate the volumes they had unless, Bitcoin pumps to 75,000. But the fact that April, which was a down month for Bitcoin, it went down 5%. And Robinhood put up $10 billion, which is basically $35 million of revenue when you do the math. Pretty damn incredible for Robinhood. So nice to see that the crypto momentum is doing good for Robinhood as well. We got Chris in the chat talking about Hershey's as well. He did buy some Hershey's. Cacao prices have gone down. There you go, Hershey's. Wow, look at that, 209, up 2.4% of the day. So we were talking about this on Finance Junkies, which is that if cacao prices start to come down, the input costs go down for companies like Hershey's that rely on the price of cacao in order to make chocolate, because that's the raw material needed for chocolate. So that one's starting to get some love from the market because they believe their margins will probably start to go up and to the right again because cacao prices are coming down. So we're seeing Hershey's get some momentum that we're seeing as well. Hershey's in the past, let me see in the past month, Hershey stock in the past month is up 15%. In the past 6 months, it's up 7%. Past 5 days, it's up 6%. Year to date, it's up 9%. So the cacao trade has been doing good for basically short cacao, long Hershey's has been the trade that's done really well. Okay, where's GameStop right now? It's still at 32.35. It looks like this thing is maintaining this momentum, dude. And there's enough buying to keep it elevated here. SoFi 725, Reddit 5990, Robin at 1753, Bitcoin 63,000, S&P at 521 on the day. Where's Palantir? Palantir $20.93. Okay. I mean, look, man, it's the momentum. I want to try to find a video from 2021 where they were talking about GameStop. I remember I watched these a while ago, and just to revisit how crazy that day was or those moments were. you remember, guys? You guys remember when Chamath was on CNBC and he bought like $500,000 of calls, and he tried to be like, for the people. It was a lot of bullshit because he like Chamath doesn't really care that much about that stuff, but he positions himself in that way. But a lot of people, continue to this is what I'm saying. A lot of like fancy people thought they were part of the movement. I don't know if the movement this time exists in the way that it did last. GameStop right now 31.40 as we're seeing it here. Okay, so let's take a look at this video back from 2021, which gives a little bit of an explanation on how this whole thing played out. Just flash from the past on GameStop.
10 years after Occupy Wall Street, there's a new type of financial protest. But instead of marches in Zuccotti Park, these protesters are sounding off on social media sites, calling for stock tips that will make the group rich while hurting hedge funds on the other side of the trade. Their meeting place? A subreddit group with more than 3 million members known as Wall Street Bets. It was there that the idea of buying GameStop went viral. As the stock soared, the financial world was left stunned.
We are seeing a phenomenon that I have never seen.
There's nothing normal about what you're seeing when it comes to this stock right now.
That's because GameStop, which sells video games and consoles, is not doing well. Their sales are plummeting and their stores are shuttering. Most analysts say profitability is still years away. So why did the Reddit group buy? Well, it started this spring when a user pointed out that GameStop had a massive amount of short interest, bets essentially that the stock would decline. As long as the stock fell, short sellers would make money. But the Redditors figured out that if they collectively bought a bunch of GameStop, they could force a surge. The short sellers would have to buy back higher, creating what's known as a squeeze. And it worked. GameStop skyrocketed, going from $3 in April to nearly $350 today. Several large hedge.
That's 100x. That's 120x. 3 to 350. That's dude. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Funds were severely wounded in the process.
You have basically the David pack of wolves beating the Goliath pack of wolves. That is retail investors winning against the professional hedge funds.
The weapon of choice for these new traders are platforms like Robinhood that have become popular during the pandemic. Many stuck at home have turned to the markets for entertainment and to make some money. GameStop hardly the only heavily shorted stock that's surging. These new traders also moving in on Bed Bath & Beyond and AMC.
You could imagine their business is in great shape. After all, everybody's going to the movies.
A little bit of sarcasm there from our colleague David Faber, but earlier today, AMC said it took advantage of the stock surge, sold $300 million worth, cash that may help during the pandemic. And both GameStop and AMC's stock prices did decline in aftermarket trading after the SEC said it is monitoring the situation. Also tonight, Wall Street Bets went private on Reddit.
Shepard.
Wild, bro. Wild. All right, so GameStop right here, still up 77%. Not bad, but not exploding like it was before. Robinhood 1743, Palantir 2094, DJT up 7.6%. This is pretty insane, dude. Did not expect this morning. SoFi. Yo, can the apes like come to SoFi? Can we do this whole short squeeze on SoFi? Because like SoFi deserves to pump up like 100%. Like, could you imagine if SoFi was the candidate versus fucking GameStop? It deserves it. Okay, SoFi's up 5% on the day. Not bad at all on SoFi. So I wonder why SoFi's running though. I feel like it's a little bit in this kind of. I kind of feel like here's the thing. If the apes or the community of people looking for stocks that are overly short but have good businesses around them or something of that nature find SoFi and they think of it as the bank of the people, okay, and they make Tanner the next roaring kitty, maybe they take SoFi to the moon because that's a company that actually deserves to. Well, technically, from multiple perspective, price to book perspective, it probably doesn't deserve to be that crazy, but it definitely deserves to be like $10. Like, it's not that insane to say that. Tanner was on the stream on Saturday. He said its tangible book value is $4 if you're valuing it just as a bank, so it's already overvalued, to be honest. But if you put in the other parts of the business that are probably worth a couple dollars a premium, yeah, this thing should be $10. Now, if this thing was $50, it would be insane if the apes got a hold of it, which I don't think is going to happen. But my point is, maybe there are other stocks that are heavily shorted that get the attention of this GameStop community, and they start to go into them. And we will see. Tanner can't be kitty. I think Tanner could be a kitty. I think Tanner could be a roaring kitty. Tanner's personality is not necessarily the roaring kitty type, but I think he could pull it off. It's going to take him a little bit of, he needs to loosen up a little bit. but if Tanner loosens up, I think he could be a roaring kitty. He just has to, loosen up. But he could do it, dude. Someone needs to fucking do it. Someone needs to get SoFi up, man. BBY, Bed Bath and Beyond. Is that still a thing? Bed Bath and Beyond? No, it's gone, right? They got delisted, right? Yeah, Bed Bath and Beyond is done. AMC is. What are some candidates you guys think? What are some stocks you guys think could be like those next meme stocks that are heavily short? I mean, MicroStrategy to an extent, but it's so pegged to Bitcoin. That's up 6%. It's so pegged to Bitcoin. It needs Bitcoin to go higher. I don't think the apes can do much about that one. BlackBerry. That's the one I was looking for. BlackBerry. So this thing's up 6%. Now, the moat around BlackBerry, a lot of people argue, is like their operating system for the car. I've never understood why people give a shit about like how they pivoted their business to like car operating systems, but apparently a lot of people think it's exciting. BlackBerry over the past month, it's been pretty much flat over the past, let me go to the past year to date. Yeah, it bottomed at $2.04. Now it's at $3. It started the year at $4 actually, so it's down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, what's the short interest on this? Let me see. What's the short interest on BlackBerry? BlackBerry short interest is it's only 7%. Yeah, I don't know if this is enough. It looks like GameStop's the only perfect candidate we're seeing right now. Peloton, I don't know about Peloton. Peloton's up 3%. What's the short float on Peloton? Let me check. Peloton, I think short floats have to be at least above 20% for there to be like a move like this. Peloton short float is 16%. That's not bad. I don't know if people care that much about Peloton though. Look at MPV. Oh, TUP. I remember that one. MPV is up. MPV is down. MPW. Sorry, MPW. MPW. What is this thing? MPW medical prop up 22%. What's the short float on that? Just to see if there's any short float there. MPW. Medical Properties Trust. Oh, wow. That's 37. Okay, here you go. I think that's the candidate. MPW. I don't know what this is. It's called Medical Property Trust. It's short 37%. Medical Properties Trust. Wait a second. I feel like someone told me about this stock. It's a REIT, right? It's a REIT, right? Katie says it's a REIT. Holy shit. Chris, you're the one who told me about this one. Chris and Steve. Dude, Chris and Steve. I remember we were, after Finance Junkies one day, we had like a Zoom call and they told me about this thing, MPW. Now, granted, they told me about it. Hold on. We had this call probably in February. Yeah, the stock was at $4 around the time, $3. So it's not like it's exploded since then. I mean, it's up 22% today. But yeah, I was like, I remember this thing. It's a REIT for hospitals. It's short 37%. So the question is, does it deserve to be down 37%? Does it deserve to be down 37%? I don't know if Steve has a ton of this. They're a hospital REIT. I don't know. Steve was excited about this, but I don't think he went super heavy. I could be wrong. I should definitely text him and ask him. He's up 20% today. But then again, his average might be closer to like $4, $4.50. I don't know if he has like a dollar average or anything like that. SoFi 727. Where's Robinhood? Robinhood 1740. Palantir 2097. Where's GameStop? GameStop halted again at 29.35. TUPS is up as well. Oh yeah, Chris was thinking of buying some of their bonds. That's what he was telling me about. Yes, he wasn't thinking of buying the stock, but he was definitely thinking of the bonds because that was interesting. TUPS is up 29%. Okay, so TUP makes Tupperware. I'm pretty sure everyone here knows what Tupperware is. TUP short float is 24%. Wow, there's only 46 million shares and 9 million are sold short for TUP. Huh. So TUP, MPW, and GameStop seem to be the perfect candidates given they're above 20% short. And this thing, TUP, is up 34% today. Volume's at 6 million. Seems like these are the memes. And BlackBerry. Seems like these are the meme stocks that are. And Spirit is up 11%. Goodness gracious, dude. What is going on? Again, I don't really love all of this because it kind of makes it feel like we're at a top when stuff like this happens. And I hope we're not at a top and we're not at a catastrophic recession. But I guess we'll see how much momentum these guys have. Because if this goes on for months, then maybe we're at a top. But if this is like a day or two phenomena, you know, a week or two phenomena, then it maybe that would be, you know, maybe it's not that big of a deal. But it's hard to imagine this is not a top when shit like this happens. Imagine a single tweet from a person made the market pump like crazy. Yeah, it is pretty insane. What was the other one you guys mentioned? Fubo. Oh, what is Fubo short? So where's Fubo right now? Fubo is up 10%. Fubo's short float is oh wow, Wall Street. Do they have Wall Street Journal? It is 22%. 22%. So Fubo, I guess, is another candidate. Fubo is another candidate, I imagine. Cinemark is up 29%. What the fuck is Cinemark? Cinemark? I've never heard of this thing. Cinemark? Cinemark Holdings is, no, it's up 4%. Unless I'm looking at the wrong one. Mullen. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Is that thing pumping today? No, that's down 5%. Okay, so Mullen's down. GameStop still halted. But yeah, there are candidates to make this happen. GameStop, no, it's back. 70%. It's back. It's back. There is the the theater. The theater. Oh, that's what you guys are talking about. Yes, that one. Okay, now I know what you guys are talking about. But yeah, there are a lot of candidates that are out there to see if this could play out. The question, again, I am skeptical of the level of interest there is in the broader market for people to want to get into this action and short these companies. To buy these companies up. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Here's Ken Griffin when asked about if he colluded with Robinhood back in 2021. This is what he said.
Given all the conspiracy theories, though, that were raised on social media and the implications of that, I'm curious, in retrospect, you obviously made a big investment in Melvin in the middle of this, Melvin Capital. Do you think that was a mistake?
No, I think Gabe Plotkin is one of the finest investors of his generation.
But given what the public perception became around this idea that Citadel was behind Plotkin on one side, behind Robinhood on the other, in retrospect, do you think it created a perception of a conflict?
If I had to run my business to the possibility of an insane conspiracy theory emerging at any point in time, I would have no business.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching.
So, I want to get some more of that coverage back then, dude. That was like kind of crazy. Let me pull it up. Guys, the opening eye event went to 12 p.m., not 11 a.m. I thought it was going to be at 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. If it was at 11 a.m., I would have just stayed live. It looks like I should make a separate live for 12 p.m. They said 11 a.m. I don't know why they changed it. But okay, so GameStop's falling a little bit. It's still up 67%, but it's falling. SoFi 727. Palantir 2091, Robinhood 1736. Again, that whole era was just insane when this thing played out. This whole era is just insane. I want to get a couple more videos from back then. GameStop. I mean, it was just insane. And I actually lived it, years later, because in the time, when it was happening, I didn't really understand it. But years later, when I went back to see how this thing whole played out, then I got a better word from it. Here's Chamath. Let's listen to him when he went and he pumped and he bought this thing. Again, his message is what a lot of people are feeling, and I don't necessarily think that feeling is the same in 2024. But if it is, then maybe this thing keeps going higher.
Through call options, Chamath Palihapitiya is the CEO. He tweeted on Tuesday that he'd gone long through call options. Chamath Palihapitiya is the CEO of Social Capital. He joins us now on the phone. Chamath, thank you for being here.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So you tweeted yesterday that you bought $115 calls in GameStop. Can you tell me what your position is as of this very moment?
Yeah. Can I tell you a little story before all of that, or no?
Why don't you tell me that first, and then we'll go from there.
So this morning I woke up after spending all last night in Wall Street bets, reading about all of this stuff. I ended up closing up my position this morning, and I wanted to announce that I'm taking all the profits that I made, plus my original position. So I'm going to take $500,000, and I'm going to donate to the Barstool Fund for Small Businesses. But I really want to tell you,
It's a good thing he did that, but doesn't it feel kind of like icky the way he said it? Like, it just kind of felt like, like, how is he doing it? You know, but like, it is a good thing he did that.
you'd be on the 500 grand donation or the money that I invested, which was, not a huge amount in the grand scheme of that stock or the entire market. What I learned, because I think what I learned over the last couple of days is important for everybody that's watching CNBC.
And that is?
I think that what you're seeing is essentially a pushback against the establishment in a really important way. You have a lot of people, and I would encourage anybody who is dismissive of this thing to go into Wall Street Bets and actually just read the forums. And I think that you're going to see three kinds of posts. The first kind of content are a lot of people doing some incredible fundamental diligence on companies, trying to think about long-term value. And in my opinion, many of them are doing as good and frankly, a better job than a lot of hedge fund analysts that I work with. That's number one. The second are a lot of people who believe that, coming out of 2008, what happened was Wall Street took an enormous amount of risk and they left retail as the bag holder. And a lot of these kids were in grade school and high school when that happened. They lost their homes, their parents lost their jobs. And they've always wondered, why did those folks get bailed out for taking enormous amounts of risk and nobody helped and showed up to help my family? And then the third thing is a realization that instead of having idea dinners or, quiet whispered conversations amongst hedge funds in the Hamptons, these kids have the courage to do it transparently in a forum. And I'm not.
And again, I think a lot of that is just bullshit. It's not really that. He's trying to philosophize people having FOMO. But I mean, at the end of the day, dude, people stuck it to the hedge funds and a lot of people conglomerated together and the thing pumped. The question is, can that happen again? Like, if we want to just talk about money, can this thing pump again to those levels? As you can see on that video you saw, it was up 124% just that day, So right here, $27.95, it obviously fell from $38. So there are people that are cashing out. And I think the question we have to think about is, are you going to be exit liquidity for someone if you're buying in at $28? And I don't know. That's it's the scary part. I'm not going to take the risk of doing that, but if anyone wants to, it's just one thing to think about. How much room does this thing have to run? Now, granted, Roaring Kitty is a call option on GameStop. If he starts making content again and starts actively talking the way he does, maybe that gets exciting. But one thing we have to think about also is, I don't know if that guy wants the SEC to get back into his life. I mean, I remember the SEC, he gave this whole testimony, him and Vlad, because like the SEC was like, how did this happen? Market manipulation, all this stuff. Ultimately, he didn't end up getting in trouble, but I could imagine you start making a live stream every day, given the influence that he has. He's not just some random kid live streaming from his basement anymore. He has hundreds of thousands of followers. One could argue that he's artificially pumping and the SEC could get involved. So I think from that perspective, I don't know if you want to invite that risk into your life, and so I guess we'll see. How this plays out, and we'll keep going from there. All right, guys, that's it for me. I think I'll be back at 12 p.m. and I will go live for the OpenAI event. So we'll do that at 12 p.m. GameStop right here up 64% on the day. We'll end it right there. I'll be back at 12 p.m. That's what it looks like. The OpenAI event might be at 1 p.m., but right now the thing is saying 12 p.m. If it's at 1 p.m., I'll be live whenever it's live. And we'll catch OpenAI's new announcements, hopefully GPT-5, some interesting stuff, potentially an Apple collaboration, lots of exciting stuff in the world of tech and for the future of AI. So we'll see what OpenAI has to say in about an hour or two. All right. This was a fun one. Thank you, everybody, for staying on the stream, even though we had those couple minutes of downtime on the internet. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. And if so, at least this hotspot's been holding up really well. So that should be a good backup next time if that does happen. All right. Oh, word of the day. That's correct. Word of the day. I forgot word of the day for like the past 5 streams. So let's do word of the day. Life was a little crazy last week. Word of the day is delve. Delve. To carry on intensive and thorough research for data, information, or the like, or investigate. It seems like people are going to delve into who's short GameStop and decide if they can finally stick it to those guys. And I guess the next coming weeks are going to be really interesting. Now, granted, I think the big question for me is, does this have momentum? And if this doesn't have momentum, then this is a, little fun thing for today. But if it does have momentum and GameStop keeps running, maybe this is going to be exciting for the next coming months, given we see what happens to the stock. We'll see. What time are you coming back? Probably at 12 p.m. So probably in an hour. Worst case at 1 p.m. So just keep the notifications on the channel. Worst case, I'll be back in 2 hours. It depends on this OpenAI event. They're saying they're going to do it at 12 p.m. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be at 1 p.m. because 10 a.m. is when their California version starts. So that's 1 p.m. Yeah, it looks like it's 1 p.m., guys. It says 12 p.m., but it looks like it'll be 1 p.m. So probably 1 p.m. So I'm in 2 hours. Back in 2 hours. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye-bye, guys. See you in a bit.